Okay, so I already prepped the cup. I sanded it and then I washed it with the blue Dawn soap. And now I'm going to go in with the Rustoleum. This is the Regal Red. I'm just going to spray the whole cup. It might be empty. The nozzle on this one might be broken. Alright, now this one is just completely covered, top and bottom. Then I'm going to let this one dry. I have this one right here that I sprayed this morning, so it's already dry. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do the blue part for where I put the stars. So this one I'm also using Rustoleum. This one is Classic Navy. And I'm going to go and I'm just going to spray on this top part from half to half. Doing my best not to get too much overspray. A little bit of overspray is nice because it gives it that rustic look. Okay, and then I let this one dry. Okay, so this is the part where I'm going to put the Constitution paper on. So I got this one right here. And I bought it from, I think it's called Fat Brain Toys. It's only like $3. So it's not too bad, and it sticks really well. I'm going to use gloves just because I don't want to deal with the Modge Podge on my hands. But, so I got my cup. This is one we spray painted, so I have my area blocked off for the blue. And then I got Modge Podge. This is the dishwasher safe. It's just what I had on hand. You can use any though, it doesn't matter. And then I got just a little sponge. And then I'm gonna use parchment paper just so I don't get it on my counter. And then right here, I have my stars that I need to put on. So I just used my Cricut to cut out 50 white stars, and then I'm gonna use contact paper to transfer it over onto my cup. And I've messed this up a million times, but you wanna make sure that the stars, the tip is pointing up when you put them on like this. Otherwise your stars will be upside down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and peel this off. Okay, and I lay my cup flat. Make sure my stars are pointed up. Double check my alignment. Okay, and I'm just gonna push it on. Oh, one of my stars went flat on me. It's okay, fix that. So you can rip it in any direction you want. It doesn't have to be a certain way or perfect. Sometimes I do it jagged, sometimes I only do half. So this one I'm just going to start by ripping the We the People off, but I'm going to rip it off a little bit thicker so that I can adjust it to my cup. Okay, and then I'm going to rip this off because we don't want any perfect lines. Make it look nice and distressed. You can rip all of your paper off at once, or you can just rip them off as you go. I usually just do it as I go because sometimes I don't know how I want it to look. Okay. So I have this one. so now I like to do mine kind of at an angle. I mean, I've done them both ways, straight across and an angle. I think I like the angle the best. So I'm thinking I'm gonna start this one where I usually start mine. And sometimes I put them over the stars, and that's okay because the star will show through. And I just like to see how far it'll wrap down. So this one will wrap about here, and then I can add some more to it. Okay, so let's get my Modge Podge. We're gonna need a lot. So I'm gonna start by Modge Podging the back. And I usually put it on thick. It just protects it better. Don't worry about doing any kind of a thin coat. It's gonna stick to the cup anyway. Let's get a little bit extra on. Okay, and then it doesn't matter if extra Modge Podge gets on the cup. You won't see it once the epoxy's on and it dries. So I'm gonna start this one, I think, right here we said. This part can get kind of tedious just because you have to try to lay it flat around this curve. There will be some little bumps. I like them. If you didn't like them, you could try laying them on the bottom down here and around, but they never bothered me. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of Modge Podge and start getting it on top to help me seal it in. And I just keep pressing flat and add Modge Podge as I go. And then just go and keep flattening until I get most of the bubbles underneath out. Like I said, there will probably still be some lines on this one for me just because of the way I laid it on, but that's okay. Just gives it a little character. Okay, eventually that one I'll flatten on the bottom, or I can just cut it off so you won't see it there. Curve is always the toughest part. You can see right here, this one bubbled up a little bit on me. I'm gonna add some more Modge Podge because you want to make sure you really seal it. Probably add quite a few layers to these cups. Perfect. Now I'm going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to come back to my paper, and usually I do my stripes after the We the People one, quite thinner than the first one. I think it looks better, but it's all personal preference, however you like it. And you can rip them in any direction. Oh, it's a good thing we have to Modge Podge these. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just gonna apply Modge Podge to the whole back of this one. Okay, and then I just have to decide where I want to place it. So this one, I think I'm gonna start at the top. And I want to make sure my words are facing the correct way. Oops, I forgot to rip the end off that one. Okay, let's see. Probably turn this one at a little bit of an angle because I want it to come all the way between here. Okay, here's my final step before I do decals. I usually distress them. So let's see, we can start with this one. I just use a brush like this. And then I use alcohol ink. Today I'll probably use two. I'm thinking I'm gonna start with the teak wood one. Okay, super easy. All I do is take the cap off. Oh, I'll do it this way. And then drop a few dots right on the brush. And then I just start making lines right across. And I just keep adding as I go. I do it across both the paper part and the red. Alcohol ink makes a mess, so definitely protect your surface. I ran out of parchment paper, so on this one I just used tin foil and paper towels. But usually I just use parchment paper and cover my counter with it. This one's a little bit darker than the one that I normally use, but I actually really like the look of this one. It looks more distressed than the other color I was using. And don't forget to get the bottom. This is our last one right here. Perfect. Okay, so now I will let this dry, probably for about 24 hours, I'm thinking. And then I'll add my decal and then put the final layer of epoxy on.